Okay, so adjustment layer. If I have a whole bunch of layers, and I want to apply an effect to all of them, I say new layer, adjustment layer. Right? I apply an effect. I'm going to change this to a different color with the label command. This can be helpful for organizing your stuff. It doesn't do anything functional. It just lets you identify different layers. Adjustment layer. And if I apply an effect, notice that it affects everything underneath it. Right? All four of these guys. It's a way to quickly affect a bunch of layers.
Could it be a motion effect or without using some
Yeah, I don't know how you could use an expression or parenting to make motion in one layer affect others. But yeah, the adjustment layer is just for applying effects from the effects column. Your color correction. This can get really interesting, actually, just combining blurs and contrast effects, like levels, which once again lets you set the darkest point, brightest point, and middle point. And this gets really interesting when you have, as Lilia does, layers that are transparent. I'm going to lock the adjustment layer so we don't have to accidentally clicking on it.
So wait, you just clicked on one of the individual layers and changed opacity and
Exactly.
all of them. And now you're moving them separately by locking the adjustment layers?
Well, I'm just locking the adjustment layer so I don't move it by accident. See, if I move the adjustment layer by accident, this is what happens.
The checks are still singular.
Can you show how you create a mask with the adjustment layer?
Sure. You create a mask with the adjustment layer the same way you create a mask with anything else, by selecting it. And then remember that the mask tool, although its symbol is a pen, think of it much more like scissors. Right? You're cutting out a section. And of course, in the mask options, you can always invert it. Oh, wow. Now they have just a checkbox. Inverted.
So can you now, can you just make the adjustment layer last for a limited amount of time on the timeline
Yep.
in order to move in and out of that effect?
And you can even change the composite mode of the adjustment layer. Or fade it in and out. Because this is the amazing consistent thing about After Effects. It's very consistent. Everything will have these keyframeable properties. Everything can be manipulated in pretty much the same way. But take a look. Oops, opacity 100. At how different and kind of organic. So here I have this Gaussian blurred levels effect. Now, if I were to copy these, select, Command C, copy. I'm going to hide the adjustment layer, and I'm going to paste this effect on each of these guys. This is slightly different. This is very blurred, so it's kind of hard to see. Let's take the blur off. It's slightly different if you were to apply this to every level than when you apply it to the adjustment layer. Subtle, but it ends up being often a lot more organic if you apply color correction and blur to many transparent layers. So I would encourage you especially to experiment with combinations of the adjustment layer with multiple transparent layers. So that's a good job, we should have done. As to how to turn parenting on and off, I'm going to drag, here we have this composition, here we have two layers, one parented to the other. so that when we move this one, or rotate this one, the other moves. So let's say that there are some parts, let's turn this different colors, some parts where I do not want this layer parented to this one. So what I will do is I will split it. Edit, split layer, Command-Shift-D. So let's say after a second we stop this being parented. None. So here I'm going to keyframe in a motion.
Just the fact that you split it got rid of the parent?
Exactly. And then if I resume this, I notice that it reset the position each time. So you'll need to work around that. You could probably put things inside a composition here. But basically, there are a lot of effects like the track mat that you can't turn on and off easily. Really quick, because we are so running out of time. Here is a really simple demonstration of an alpha channel. I've just made this white triangle. If you use the mask tool on empty space, nothing selected, that's when you begin creating shapes. Maybe some of you have created shapes by accident and realize this. So I'm going to put this over this layer, not just in our composition view, but on the timeline as well. And I'm going to say track mat, Luma mat, shape layer. The difference between this, and the inverted should be obvious, right? Like, reverse it. The difference between alpha mat and Luma mat, and this is true across editing programs, Final Cut, you're running with the same thing. Alpha mat means if the object has an alpha channel already, use that. Luma mat means treat white as opaque and black as transparent. In this case, our triangle has both. Right? Shapes in After Effects have an alpha channel. But so it has no difference. And then you will need to actually parent this to your object, or combine them both in the same comp, or otherwise fix them together. But that is adding an alpha channel to something. So once again, to combine things in a comp, layer, pre-compose. So, and then you can manipulate this as a unit. So we are so short on time.
Your computer's about to die.
Yeah. Fortunately, we're done with the demo.
There's a charger right now.
And Apple changed the shape.
Oh.
Yeah, no, these